Today's deck guide is about the most played deck in top 10% Infinite since the most recent OTA, and it's winning over 60% of its games. Let's break down why this list is exactly what you need if you want to escape the Star-Lord meta right now. Hey, what's up everybody? Kicker of Elves here. Hope y'all are having a fantastic day wherever you're at. Today I've got a deck guide for you on the pretty much the only list I've enjoyed playing consistently these past couple of weeks in this horror show of a meta that's spun out from Star-Lord. If you look at a top 10% Infinite since the latest OTA at player collection level 24,000 plus, so the absolute stringent margin in terms of like top players, in terms of people reporting their data to Untapped, this list has almost 1,000 games, an almost 61% win rate, and a almost 0.75 cube rate. Very strong stats. This is not just some cope I'm playing to like escape the plug my ears while Star-Lord's running rampant. It's incredibly strong. It's got a neutral matchup into Star-Lord, while also not just folding to other decks going on. This isn't like the super giant list where it's just so, or like Jean Grey Cosmo thing where it's like so zeroed in on beating Star-Lord. This is a legitimate deck. It's got a lot of cool lines and it has a really good backup plan, so you're not all in on Shou-Lao. Just wanted to show a little bit of that social proof in terms of the data behind the deck, but let's dive into the full deck guide now. Let's talk about this bad boy. I've been calling it Baja Men. It's like a lot of different jumps to get there. Like it's a move deck. So I thought, can you move it like this? I think that's a Baja Men song. So I call it Baja Men. That's a great way to start off a deck guide. But holistically, what this list is trying to do, it's infusing the move many style list that were, Cougar and Iris have played a bunch to a lot of popularity. You've got the Sam Wilson, Captain America, Kraven, Hydra Stomper, Batroc sort of core with help from cards like Silk and Nightcrawler, but you're also going into a Shou-Lao the Undying, like go over the top of them plan with cards like Shou-Lao, like Maverick, like Hawkeye Kate Bishop, which I'll talk about when we get into the card by card breakdown, as well as Kitty Pryde. You can play this list in a way that allows you to do the sort of classic Sam Wilson, Kraven, bouncing things around with Silk, getting down a big old Hydra Stomper, while also getting into a very clear turn 5 Maverick into turn 6 Shou-Lao plus something else, because you don't need to draw Maverick and Shou-Lao until the turn 5 and turn 6 of the game in order to realize their plan. You just need to play in a way that is, playing multiple cards in a turn. The way this deck is constructed makes that very easily. And what I love about this list, I love that component where it's like, it's not like Moondragon where it's like, I need my Moondragon on 2 or game over. Your combo can show up late, but also even if you're not doing that, just the core of Sam Wilson Kraven with Batroc, as well as just doing like Cosmo stuff, having Mercury to stop counters, and just like, these cards in general are very strong. So even if Shou-Lao is shown on the bottom of your deck, you have a lot of legitimate game into a huge slice of the meta. Apparently my body doesn't want me to tell you about this list. Wants me to trigger coughing and wants to keep this list secret. But I'm not. I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight those coughs to get you the news of this very fun deck. Geez, that's hilarious. I'm keeping that in there. That's staying in the video. You get to see the raw, unfiltered Kicker of Elves cough attack. But this deck is very fun because there's a lot of game actions. It's kind of the opposite of Star-Lord. It's very funny how a month ago Shou-Lao is a nightmare, and maybe when they nerf Star-Lord he'll still be, but the Red Dragon's coming in to sort of save us from an even greater, the lesser of two very large evils here. And it's the opposite of the Star-Lord deck. You're taking a ton of game actions. You really have to think about how you want to play out your early turns, like getting out of Kate Bishop at the right time so you have one cost to play around, so you're not you have to put some work into Shou-Lao here. We're not running Merlin. Merlin doesn't really gel with this game plan, but this list can be super strong and can, barring a nut draw from a Star-Lord combo deck, really put out some respectable power. And we do have a really good matchup into it in terms of we can gain priority with a Cosmo. This isn't a Shou-Lao counter. This isn't a Star-Lord counter list, but it has some legitimate game into it, and it doesn't fold to other popular decks in the meta. In fact, it is very, very strong. So you got the idea of the overall deck. Let's go into the card by card breakdown so you can really know the ins and outs of this and see if this deck is truly right for you. Kitty Pryde is one of the most important cards in this list from the Shou-Lao game plan perspective. Getting a Kitty Pryde on one just really puts your deck into not autopilot, but it just makes a lot of the like, okay, how and when do I play to meet the two cards per turn condition really easy. You don't need her to make Shou-Lao work. We have other ways to do it, but this is maybe the card you are most happy to see in your opening hand because it tells you, okay, I can invest in a Shou-Lao game plan, and even not just playing Kitty Pryde pretty much every turn. You're getting a 1/5, 1/6 that can be played on the last turn of the game, and it's pretty dang respectable. It is pretty dang strong. Love getting to play Kitty here. I'm happier that in this current iteration of Shou-Lao, it's just the way the meta has gone. It is more attached to Kitty than it is to Merlin. Merlin got nerfed a pretty good amount, and Kitty Pryde is just a fun card on top of all the other stuff you're doing. You can move your Silk around. You can, if people are trying to do Jean Grey Cosmo stuff, you can easily play Kitty Pryde to get rid of that condition. You can just help you put pressure on certain locations and then pull away from them, like if you're trying to win a raft. Kitty has a lot of, it's not a tech card, but it has a lot of utility in terms of like Asgard lanes that want you to fill something up, and then she leaves to be able to let you go back in there with more power or something else. It's really nice. Batroc the Leaper finally just got a variant for him. Had to put some respect on Batroc's name, or Batroc, whatever you want to call him. This is like maybe the best one cost character in the game. His scaling is through the moon. There's not a ton of destroy running around. He's a big part of making your backup plan, which if you're not doing your big Shou-Lao into Maverick pop off, getting Batroc down and then just Sam Wilson Kraven bouncing those cards around, you can get a ton of power. Then going into like an 11 plus power Hydra Stomper, that's huge. Those are legitimate points. You can spread things out pretty easily, and you can select where your output is going with Batroc because of Sam Wilson, because of Mercury, because of Grapple Arrow from Hawkeye Kate Bishop. If you're moving on top of a Kraven, even better. I don't want this to happen, but I would not be surprised if Batroc got nerfed in some capacity just because he is so far ahead of other one costs. Nightcrawler. Love this split. The Peach Momoko variant. I didn't even buy this variant. It was like a super premium mystery variant. And then I was like, oh, Nightcrawler's better. I was doing this split recently and got the gold crackle with Inked. I need to figure out a border situation. But Nightcrawler is great as a 1/3. Very good stats. But just being another move enabler, another way to reallocate your points in the final turn of the game. The more traditional versions of the move many list, what many would just call the Iris list, was being able to Hellion on turn 5 to shift stuff around and then try to close things off with a Juggernaut. Nightcrawler having that inbuilt move, it becomes another way to move your Batroc, buff your Kraven, buff your Hydra Stomper. Because it's an inbuilt move and really good stats on his own, we're just happy to run him. Time will tell if this just sticks around or if there's going to be some other cards that come through. But right now, Nightcrawler is a great option, and it's free to play to boot. Everybody's got Nightcrawler. No one needs to go out and spend 5,000 tokens on Nightcrawler. Although, I wonder if they just released Nightcrawler's Series 5 card, people buy them? Interesting thought experiment. Let's keep moving. Hawkeye Kate Bishop. People who have been watching the channel for a long time, and especially my tier list, will know I'm a little bit of a Hawkeye Kate Bishop hater. I think this is maybe the most overrated snap card of recent memory. In terms of, when I say overrated, I don't mean bad. I just mean people say this is like a 9 or a 10 out of, this is the best 9 or 10 out of 10 card. And I've never thought it was that good. Merlin does this stuff a lot better in a lot of decks. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent about dunking on Kate Bishop. She's great because we've got our Acid Arrow, Grapple Arrow, Basic Arrow, Pim Arrow. The reason I think she's overrated is because Pim Arrow and Basic Arrow basically suck. They clog up your board. You wouldn't run pre-buff Hawkeye you wouldn't run Hawkeye or pre-buff Ant-Man in your deck normally, so you don't want them in your hand. Grapple Arrow is great here because of the move utility. Acid Arrow is always phenomenal. Acid Arrow is what makes Kate Bishop good. But the reason she is so good here is because she's going to give you one cost if you don't draw into your Kitty Pryde or your other one costs. you're going to prioritize getting her down on turn 2 if you don't have Kitty Pryde, even over stuff like Sam Wilson, because what you can do is play Hawkeye. Let's say you have Hawkeye and Sam Wilson in your hand. Going into turn 2, you play Hawkeye, so you get 1 cost. So on turn 3, you can play Sam Wilson plus a 1-drop. You're getting the +3 to Shou-Lao. The next turn, you can play that 1-drop and another card, another 3 cost. You can play the 1-drop and Hydra Stomper, for example. You see where I'm going? She helps you fill out your Shou-Lao condition curve if you're not getting Kitty Pryde as a repeatable 1-cost or being able to time out your tempo plays with Batroc and with Nightcrawler. So she helps a lot there. Even though I hate on Kate Bishop, she's fantastic in this list, and it's great. She contributes a lot to the fun of, like, I'm taking a lot of game actions vibe of this deck, which I do appreciate after almost a month of just, I can skip the first 3 turns and then get a million energy on turn 6. No one's going to miss that. Anyway, Kraven and Sam Wilson are the meme from Predator of Arnold, and I forget the other guy that's like doing the big hand clasp here. Batroc on 1, Sam Wilson on 2, Kraven on 3 is an insane amount of power. Forget about everything else that's going on. That's a 1-2-3 play, and then you just get to do that in the background while you're playing your other cards. That is always happening every turn. You're just boop, boop, boop. Sam Wilson to Kraven, Sam Wilson to Kraven. You just get to do that in the background, top of everything else, and then you're playing the rest of your energy. There's no more energy that needs to go into that. You just play Hydra Stomper. You can play a Cosmo. You can play a Mercury. You can do whatever else you want to do. That's happening in the game plan. Even with, like, you have cards like Silk that are bouncing around. Nightcrawler is another move. Mercury can be a move to it. Kraven gets huge. And part of me is considering if this variant is good enough to put proper respect on Kraven or if I need to get something else for him. Sam Wilson, Captain America. What a freaking card. One of the best cards of 2025, and this list feels excellent for him. Getting him out on 2 or on 3, depending on when you need to, like, just if you can start feeding into the Shou-Lao curve, just feels excellent. You're able to move the shield every turn. Your shield moves your Batroc. Your shield buffs your Kraven. Your shield buffs your Hydra Stomper. Your shield can help you fill up a location like a raft, similar to what Kitty's doing, and then you can reallocate that power out of the way. It's fantastic. It just feels great. Sam is great here. This is probably his best deck right now. Silk, Cake Deck Silk variant here. She just feeds into, like, making your Kraven huge, making your Hydra Stomper big. You're taking a lot of game action, so you can easily play Kitty on top of this. You can play your Kate Bishop arrows on top of this. It's very easy for you to move this card around, and then your opponent can move her too, and that just makes your Hydra Stomper gigantic. You obviously don't want to, like, put your Shou-Lao buff on her because it's kind of unpredictable, but this is another piece of the move many style archetype, and helps you when you're back up, when you don't get your Maverick Shou-Lao combo, having a Silk bouncing around everywhere that your opponent's got to worry about while you're bouncing Sam Wilson and shields back with Kraven. It just puts a lot of mental strain on the board, and it's really cool. I love that move many in this regard is becoming the, like, more dominant form of move versus just like the Human Torch decks of old, even though I did enjoy those decks to a degree. Maverick, here's our big Shou-Lao game plan. You probably know where I'm going with this, but just to level set in case this is, newer people watching this video or they weren't around in the January meta. What you want to do is play to meet Shou-Lao's condition, which is playing more than two or more cards per turn. On turn 5, you want the last card you play to be Maverick. Then, on turn 6, you play Shou-Lao. So Shou-Lao's +12 or whatever goes on to Maverick. Maverick becomes a 3/15. Then you activate Maverick to put his that 15 power on the other card you play along with Shou-Lao. So you have 1-drops, or that be Kitty Pryde's obviously the one you want to do. But even if it's Nightcrawler, a Kate Bishop arrow that is an Acid arrow, or Batroc, just putting another... being able to use Shou-Lao's buff twice, getting the double effect on Shou-Lao's huge power buff is what makes it very strong. Oftentimes, just doing the Shou-Lao buff without Maverick is enough, but this is the plan A of the deck. You want to be doing all that cool move stuff we've been talking about, but then also preparing yourself to be able to put a bunch of power onto a Maverick and then have that Maverick pass it on to another 1-cost card that you played after Shou-Lao on turn 6. Still feels great. Cosmo, there's just a lot of on reveals right now, And this is the tech against Star-Lord if you are able to see what they're trying to do. It just shuts down one location. Helpful for you because you don't have a lot of huge on reveals that like obviously other than Shou-Lao, like you're not doing cannonball stuff. You can safely put your Hydra Stomper behind this if you need to, or your Sam Wilson. It can be a good protection if someone else is trying to or just stopping Fin Fang Foom. This is what makes this deck okay into those lists. Again, this isn't a Shou-Lao counter list. Sometimes I keep saying Shou-Lao counter list because I'm so used to that being the card people are trying to counter, but Star-Lord is the card we're talking about here. So this shuts down Fin Fang Foom. This can shut down Star-Lord Absorbing Manzola shenanigans. But frankly, there are going to be times where you just need to see they've got their thing and they've snapped. I'm not going to be able to beat that. Let me dip out for 1 cube. But Cosmo the good boy is here to be a defender. Hydra Stomper. This, we're doing Sam Wilson, Batroc, Kraven stuff. We are moving many cards, and Hydra Stomper gets big when we move many cards. So this is a great payoff. I really hope they don't nerf it down from a 3/3. I think this is a very fun card. This is really, it is just cool in terms of flavor of the game to be able taking game actions. You're moving the shield. You're seeing cards move across the board. You're throwing stuff on Silk. Silk's going everywhere. Kraven's getting big. It's cool. There's a lot of chaotic makes it sound like it's random and not skill expressive. I don't mean it that way. But just the kind of chaos is really cool. And to have Hydra Stomper be a scaler is what really ties a lot of this together. Even though Sam Wilson's kind of the key piece in terms of having a card that you can move every turn on your own without spending energy, Hydra Stomper is the payoff that makes that feel super real. Mercury's a card I'm always on the verge of cutting. Maybe it's because I don't have a variant for her and I'm not buying the Mephaean variant. And I've got whatever it is, 9 more months before the Creative House Pocket variant even enters the vault space. But you can shut down other move stuff. I'm almost tempted to try to get a Drax in here. If you're looking at this list and you're excited, I don't think this is a flex spot. I think people would say, no, you need to keep Mercury in here because this checks other move lists. If you're playing the mirror match and you get Mercury down, you win that mirror match. Just full stop. It's gonna be very hard for your opponent who's playing a move deck to overcome this. But I just don't feel excited about this. The other, speaking from an objective standpoint, she is probably your second best Maverick or a Shou-Lao buff recipient target because you can even Shou-Lao on 5 then, and you've got a 3/13 Mercury that you can move on the last turn. Not as good as Maverick, obviously, but it does put pressure on your opponent, and it's pretty good. So I'm not thrilled about Mercury. I'm always almost cutting her, but I don't because she does have that counter potential. But if you want to goof around and experiment and find something better than the Mercury slot, or that's worked for you, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Last but not least, the Dragon of Pain, January's torturer himself, Shou-Lao the Undying. He comes in here and hybridizes this list. Even at a 5/6, he's still incredibly strong. Like we've been talking about, there are so many easy ways to meet his condition, and we've got such a good, strong backup game plan that even if we don't draw him, we're still A-okay. But being able to Shou-Lao into your Maverick and then pass that buff onto a Kitty Pryde feels fantastic, and you're going to go over the top of so many lists, including Star-Lord if it's not doing its big pop-off combo. So if you want more in-depth deck guides, card reviews that understand the value of the current meta and your current token stockpile and aren't just going to gas up stuff for FOMO, weekly meta reports, rambling, season pass, and PAX code giveaways. I can say I can do that now because I'm in the Snap Creator Program. Woo! I can say I do that consistently. Stick around. We're probably going to, let's say, I probably should have done this at the beginning of the video to announce that I'm doing season pass giveaways and stuff, but if you made it this far, now you know that's coming. Definitely going to do them when the new season rolls over. So happy that folks are, here on this. That's always fun. Yes. So that more of that to come on the way. But just want to say thanks to everybody who supported me on the journey so far. We got tons of good content on the way. I'm so excited for the new season to roll over. I have not been enjoying the game as much as I normally do because of this dog water meta that we are in. No, Star-Lord is not the most broken card ever. Oh, yeah, you can build to counter it. Wow, you people want to complain. It's just not fun. The playing against that deck is not fun. The counters that have emerged, like super giant crap, is not fun to play. It's just a bad meta. But metas come and they go. Snap is such a dynamic game, and the objective stuff that's been data mined looks super cool, so I'm excited for it. I'm Kicker of Elves. Thank you all so much for watching the video. I will see you next time. And while you're here, check out the video that's on your screen right now. It's another cool piece of Marvel Snap content. See ya!